What's up, guys? We're in the middle of an attack here. I'm going to be showing you one of the easiest strategies within the builder base because I'm not even going to think about it. This obviously takes skill, dude. The builder base, it's not an easy base, all right? But yeah, okay, that sucks. Is that going to be a bomb over there? No. All right, cool. Free Tesla. Yippee. So anyway, I've been very busy lately because I moved to a new apartment, and you guys are not going to believe the story of how I got to this apartment because it's insane, dude. All right, so basically, I needed to get an apartment because, you know, I'm getting old. I can't be living with my parents anymore. You can't bring a girl over and be like, yo, ignore my dad in the shower, you know, like just pretend it's just us. Yeah, girls don't really like that, in my experience. And also, your parents don't really like it if you're like, yo, ignore the random girl in the house. Not that I bring random girls around, dude. I play builder base this much. You think that I'm bringing women around the house constantly? Anyway, it was time to move out. I've moved out before. Granted, I moved to the projects, which was an accident. I know you might be wondering, how the fuck do you accidentally move to the projects? I impress myself sometimes, fellas. I don't really even know. Holy shit. Okay, that's bad. We gotta take that down now. Oh, no, we lost our cannon cart. Why does he have 3 Teslas over there? Stop! Oh my god, the battlecopter might survive. Oh no, he's getting cooked over there. Wait, there's gonna be a massive air base. Oh my god, the battlecopter survived. The battlecopter survived. Fuck you. There's gonna be a massive air bait. So we're gonna use the battlecopter ability and he's gonna trigger all the bombs, but is not gonna hopefully do much damage. So we do that like that. Oh, he put all his bombs on ground. Why are all his bombs on ground? I literally just attacked this guy with air. What is he doing? All right, well, that was easy. Anyway, I load up the Zillow, as you do, and it's time to go apartment touring, baby. Let's go. So I'm looking around, and I'm like, oh, this apartment looks nice. And so I decide to visit it in person. And dude, they are catfishing the fuck out of you on that app, dude. Place looks all nice. I get there, it looks worse than the projects of St. Louis. Like, I was surprised. And then I'm thinking, okay, you know, I'm just going to tough it out. I already scheduled an appointment. So I go into the office and the lady's just like, who are you? And I guess she didn't get the memo that I scheduled an appointment. No big deal, you know. Oh, I just nearly surrendered. Oops. Wait, this guy has no Tesla. Can't I just like ridiculously abuse that fact? Can't we just like take down the majority of this guy's base because he has no Tesla? I'm pretty sure we can. Although we might get completely cucked by a push trap, which will really ruin my day, but let's just hope that doesn't happen. But yeah, so yeah, I scheduled the tour. I go to the apartment and I'm like, all right, I'm here now. She has no clue who I am. I explain, I'm here for the tour of the apartment. Everything smells like cigarette smoke. I'm thinking this might have been a mistake. And, you know, God's good because for some reason they're like, yeah, we actually don't have any apartments that you can tour here. Which I'm like, isn't that like the whole thing you guys are supposed to, like, you're literally have 1,000 apartments. It might just, that's like your guys' whole thing. You got to have apartments. That's literally all you got to do. Why does it even say you do? But I'm guessing that was a sign from God not to move in there. Although there were other signs from God not to move in there, such as the cigarette smoke and the garbage everywhere. There were a few signs from God. God was shouting at me not to move in that place. So I think, shoot, all right, well, I guess we'll go to plan B. And I go to this other place and I schedule a tour with them. So I've scheduled this tour with his apartment and I'm thinking, all right, surely it's going to go fine and dandy. You know, it's not like both these apartment places are going to just completely ditch me on these tours. So I go, I call my roommate. I'm like, yo, please don't time fail. I will literally kill myself. I will kill myself on right now. I will. Thank you. So anyway, I call my roommate. I'm like, yo, it's time to go tour this apartment. I scheduled the tour. No big deal. You know, that's just what a responsible roommate does, dude. I'm pretty much the GOAT. Whatever. I'm pretty proud of myself here for scheduling this tour because, not gonna lie, we've been talking about moving out together for like ever. Whenever we talk about it, I'm like, yo, let's totally move out, dude. And then I just kind of ghost him. So this time I was feeling pretty proud of myself because on the account that I did not ghost him. In fact, I found the apartments. Now, granted, it seems these apartments kind of suck, but I found them. And so my roommate pulls up. He's like, yo, let's go tour the place. I'm like, great. I haven't gone in yet because I was waiting for you to get here. Let's go. We go to the door. It's locked. And I'm just thinking, all right, that's dumb. You know, I scheduled a freaking tour. No, none of these places want to give me a tour. But there is a sign there and it's like, yo, do you want a virtual tour? And I'm thinking, okay, I could probably go with a virtual tour. And so I scan the QR code. I'm trying to set up the freaking virtual tour. And it finally works. I have to create an account. I have to like give it my phone number. Oh no, I put down the giant 1 second too late. No, we're getting destroyed. No, the cannon carts. Okay, this is going to be kind of rough. All right, plan B. Move the cannon cart straight into a Mega Tesla. I know it sounds maybe not like the best idea, but hear me out. It actually worked really well. We haven't lost a single troop yet. Wait a minute. This was great. This was immaculate. What the frick? Wait, there's gonna be bombs here. Yeah, how did I know? How did I know? I just knew it wouldn't be, it can't be perfect. I just knew there was gonna be something. Oh, anyway, there's a virtual tour. I set it up and it's like, all right, all you gotta do is just open the key box. And I look around and sure enough, there's a key box I need to open. So I go to open the freaking key box and it doesn't fucking open. I'm a pretty mild-mannered guy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm thinking, okay, this is understandable. Maybe there's something I'm doing wrong. So I sit there for like an hour trying to open this key box. It's not opening and I'm just like deleting the app, re-downloading the app, turning off my phone, turning on my phone, turning on the Bluetooth. Like, there was a code option on the key box where you could type in a code to open it, and they were like, no, just use Bluetooth. That obviously does not work. I mean, why would that work? Why would that? I just know it's not gonna work. So I sit there for like 40 minutes, and finally I figure out how to open the key box, and it's like my friend has tried, I've tried, we've toiled over opening this freaking key box, and finally I can open it, and guess what? There's no fucking key, and I'm just like, are you serious? My friend is pissed. He's like, okay, dude, let's just not live here. And I'm like, that's a compelling suggestion, but let's just see if we can maybe wait for them to come back. So we get some Chick-fil-A. I tear up a large fry, dude. I just tear one up. I put a hurtin' on some chicken tenders. I was just going nuts on some Chick-fil-A, dude. Just as I do. No big deal. That's just what I do. And by a miracle of God, we finally get back to the apartment and they're actually there this time. I know, it's crazy. An apartment is actually going to give me a tour. I thought I was crazy too for thinking that was a normal thing to get from an apartment. This is the guy who had like all the Teslas in the world down here. Do I roll the dice and assume he kept them? Oh yeah, we do. Oh baby, that's what I like to see. And he probably switched all his bombs to air. Oh baby, we're just gonna put a hurtin' on this dude. Give me all those free Teslas, thank you. So I don't really have a plan here. I just wanted to take down the Teslas. So we're definitely gonna have to figure out how we're actually gonna take down the base with this strategy. Luckily, step one to doing that involves cannon carts, which are my bread and butter, baby. That's what I do. We gotta take down this archer tower, which is going to suck. I can guarantee that. Put another barbarian there. Okay, great. So the cannon carts are going to be working onto a freaking clock tower before anything. So that's awesome. I love when cannon carts take down freaking clock towers instead of the thing abusing them. You guys would do terrible in an abusive relationship. Okay, whatever. We got that down. Battle machine now is going to tank for everything so we can take down the Mega Tesla. Let's go. Throw in our broski, and by that I mean the bomber. The bomber? The baby? Let's go. Okay, so please take that down before the Mega Tesla slaps him. Thank you. Okay, so we can low-key take down a giant cannon now. Let's go pause that, send a P.E.K.K.A in from the top. We still have the battle machine ability just vibing over there. All right, this guy is completely cooked. I hope he's mad. He changed all of his bombs to air because I avoided his bait and then I just switched to ground. Oh, this poor soul. I'm not that sorry, actually. I'm very happy I did this. Anyway, we go to the apartment and they're like, yeah, you can tour, I guess. And so they give me a key. We go, we tour the apartment. We're like, yo, this is actually pretty tight. Because the apartment is actually pretty tight. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I was surprised. There's a pool, there's a gym, there's a basketball court, and we go to the apartments themselves. They look nice too. We're thinking, bro, we did it. We're gonna get out the hood. And so we start signing papers and we're like, great, when can we see the apartment? And they're like, well, we gotta clean it first. And I'm thinking, okay, cleaning it first. We have 2 weeks. That's gonna be done, week at most. So I wait a week and then I call them and I'm like, hey, is the apartment clean? And well, I don't get that far because the freaking phone doesn't pick up. They don't pick up the phone. I know it's a lot to ask for the apartment to pick up their freaking calls. Sorry, I know I'm a nuisance. And so I start leaving them voicemails like I'm a jealous ex-girlfriend. Like my ex-girlfriend would be like impressed with how much I harassed these apartment people because, dude, they would not call me back. I was getting annoyed at this point. Like, dude, Just call me back. Why would you have a phone if you're not gonna call me back? Just call my phone back. You know, come on. You know, I was very annoyed. If you can't tell, I was pretty pissed about this. Because I have two options, which is either A, call them, pretty easy option, I like that option a lot, or B, drive 40 minutes to go ask them one question. And so I keep leaving them voicemails. They're not bringing back any of them. And finally, I say, fuck it. I'm just going to drive there. So I drive the like 40 minutes to go. Oh, dude, we got him again. Okay, wait. Pause on the story. We got to abuse this guy once more. I mean, it would be dumb if he didn't move his traps. That doesn't mean he did, but like it would be dumb if he didn't. I'm going to just hope he didn't, I guess. I'm going to change to a different strategy, but like I'm pretty sure he didn't move his traps. So let's just go. Oh, give me all that for free, baby. Oh, baby, we just got another 3 free Teslas. This poor guy. He needs to just give up at this point. He's not going to trap the goat. And by that, of course, I mean myself. I am the goat. Anyway, I drive to the apartment complex at this point, and I'm like, yo, you need to start responding to my calls. Like, I am wanting to live here. I want to give you guys money for me to live there, and it's probably overpriced, and I'm gonna do it anyway because I want to live here. Just freaking call me back. Yeah, I know. Again, a lot to ask. I understand that. I apologize for being so just unbelievably demanding. Baby dragon ability. Just, okay, we're gonna probably slam dunk this. That's a dubski for the boys here. Oh, wait. Okay, wait, that's fine. Bang. And they're like, I know, we're sorry. We're understaffed. You got to understand this. And I'm like, okay. It's okay. I forgive you. I'm a very forgiving person. All I want to know is, can I tour my apartment yet? And they're like, no, it's been a week. What do you have to do? And I asked them that, and they're like, well, we haven't cleaned it at all. It's been a week. Clean the freaking apartment. You guys are terrible. And so they're like, all right, look, we're going to clean it. Don't worry. It's definitely on the to-do list. I'm like, it fucking better be. What do you mean it's on the to-do list? You just gotta be a little patient with us. You just gotta be a little patient. We're very understaffed. I know I already said that twice, and I know it's not your fault we're understaffed. It's not your fault. I forgive you. Okay, pause. I better get this down. I get this down, right? Yeah, I get this down. This poor guy. So I'm like, all right, well, can I look at it maybe? Is that gonna be okay? I just want to look at the apartment and make sure it's not like destroyed. And they're like, yeah, you know. They're like, we don't let people tour the apartments until they're clean. And I'm thinking, all right, dude, like, unless this apartment is completely ransacked and there's no paint on the walls and it's just destroyed, there's a hole in the ceiling, I'm really not gonna care. I lived in so many worse places. Like, I don't care. Just let me look at the apartment. And they're like, okay, you know, for you, we'll make an exception. And you can go look at the apartment. And I'm like, all right, thank God. Let's go give this place a little peek around. Like, how bad could it be? And so they give me the key to the building. Very important. They give me a key to it. Now, when they give me a key, it suggests to me that there's going to be a door that I'm going to need to open with this key. And I know you guys might be thinking, well, that suggests that to me too. Why are you explaining this? Well, that's because I get there. I park and I go into the building. And the first building we toured, I'll say, was it's like on a hill. So we were on a very low level of the hill. As you get higher up the hill, the apartment building starts to all of a sudden look a little worse. Like all of a sudden I'm like, damn, that window is just hanging off. There's no gutter there. Like, what's going on here? This apartment looked very nice when I looked at it from the bottom. What happened here, guys? And I'm thinking, all right, you know, I don't really care about how the outside looks because the inside is all that matters. You know, that should be your philosophy with everything. Girls, women, textbooks, apartments, whatever. Okay, wait, this is going to be a little iffy, but we're still going to get this with no issue. Yay. So it's whatever. The apartment buildings definitely look worse, but I don't really care. I start to walk up to the apartment and I get to the very, very top of it. And I'm like, sick. I finally made it to this apartment. Let's go finally look inside of it, see what we got going on. And I go to open the door. I'm like, wait a minute. This is not locked. And look, I'm kind of an irrationally paranoid guy, all right? This isn't really necessary to be, but I, for some reason, am just like, kind of overly paranoid. So when I see it's unlocked, I'm like, well, there's probably someone still in here. So I'm kind of on guard already, thinking, what if the old owner is just here? So I very cautiously open the door. I'm peeking through, and I just immediately see there's like a pile of garbage in the middle of the apartment. And I'm like, all right, you know, that's not the best sign, but they said that it hasn't been cleaned yet. But I don't really want to go into the apartment on the account that I'm still thinking, what if there's someone here? What if there's someone waiting for me to come inside? And so I'm kind of just peeking around. I kind of step in, and then I hear this like loud chirping noise. It was from the smoke detector. They were no batteries in it, so it made that incredibly loud noise. And the apartment's empty, so it echoes through the entire apartment. And I'm like, oh fuck! And I get just freaked out, and I just leave immediately. And I go to the bottom, and I'm like, hey, is it supposed to maybe be locked, or is that just a silly misconception that you guys would actually lock the apartment? I'm not the apartment owner. Obviously, you guys would know more than me. What's correct here? Why does that baby dragon go for that? Actually, that's really bad. That's substantially worse than I could have ever predicted would happen here. So this is gonna be actually kind of close because that baby dragon went the wrong freaking way. Thank you, baby dragon, for making everything worse. Thank you for baby dragon for possibly, almost, maybe you might actually ruin my day here, baby dragon. It might be your fault that my day gets ruined. It might be all your fault. Battlecopter gets to level 2 ability, maybe. Battlecopter take down the roaster, por favor. Is that possible? Yes, maybe. If I don't get this 6-star, I'm probably going to just die, actually. Anyway, the smoke detector makes like an ungodly loud sound. It echoes through the entire apartment. I'm just like, no, and I just leave immediately. I go back down. I'm like, hey, was this door maybe supposed to be locked? And they're like, oh yeah, sorry, forgot about that. As you do when you leave an apartment complex unlocked. And I'm just like, all right, that's probably a bad sign, but whatever. The apartment was dirty and it was unlocked, and the smoke detector clearly needs batteries, but whatever. So I tell them, all right, it's definitely dirty, but I'm gonna give you guys the benefit of the doubt that you're probably gonna clean it up. They're like, don't worry, it's gonna be clean. And so I leave, and I tell my roommate, I'm like, yep, looks good. Because I didn't want to tell him like there's a bunch of trash in the living room and it kind of looks scary and the apartment was unlocked. I didn't want to tell them any of that, because in my mind, they don't need to know that. They just need to know that like it doesn't smell like cigarettes. That was all that mattered to me. So I was like, all right, you know what? This will probably be okay. So I tell him it's fine. And I just leave it at that. And so I go on my merry way. They're like, yeah, we'll probably get it cleaned before you move in. I'm like, you shouldn't be saying probably about that. You should be saying definitely going to get that cleaned before you move in. I would much prefer that's how you guys address that, but sure. And I go back to work. A few days pass, and now my roommate is like, yo, I'm gonna go check out the apartment. And I'm like, great, that's great, because he's a little bit more brave than me, so he's not gonna let a smoke detector make him not go inside the apartment. And so him and his girlfriend go to the apartment, and then he FaceTimes me from inside. And I'm like, great, I've actually not been inside there yet. I wonder what it looks like. And he's like, yo, we got a problem. And I'm like, no, don't tell me that. And so I ask him, like, what's the problem? He's like, all right, the apartment looks fine. And I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds good. But the fridge, and he shows me the fridge. There's blood in the fridge. How is there blood in the fridge? I don't know. Maybe I'm just, again, being a little prestigious. Maybe I'm being a little bit entitled here. But I was hoping I would get the apartment without the blood in the fridge. Again, maybe that's just me getting a little bit too entitled. And then he opens the freezer, and there's just bugs all in the freezer, like bugs in the freezer. How does this even happen? I'm telling you, I've lived in a lot of houses, and by that I mean I've lived in like 3 different places. It's not that much actually, but I've lived in places before, and I understand things get dirty, but the apartment looks fine. Except for the freaking fridge. The fridge has blood and cockroaches in it. And I'm like, this is insane. Like, I didn't even think there was an option to be the thing. Like, that was never what I would have expected to be the problem in the apartment. I was expecting the trash on the ground to be the problem, or the smoke detector being broken, not the fridge. And so I'm just shocked. And I'm like, all right, maybe bring that up to them. And he's like, oh, I will. Because my roommate, he's not going to let some freaking apartment person delay him from alerting them that there's blood in our fridge. So, but then I'm like, all right, well, how does the rest of the apartment look? And he's like, well, other than the freaking blood-filled fridge murder scene, everything's fine. So I'm thinking, all right, you know what? A little blood never hurt anybody. I'm just thinking, yeah, well, what's the worst that can happen here? Okay, that's an annoying Tesla placement, honestly. I'm going to have to probably deal with that. But yeah, I'm willing to let the blood slide, honestly, which for a lot of people should have been like the first thing of like, all right, you know what, maybe not this place. But no, me, I'm like, all right, you know what, I have blood on my body. It surely can't be bad to have in a fridge. What's the worst that can happen? As I tell you, I'm a very forgiving person. Okay, Kim, I will not forgive myself if I don't get this 6-star though. That will be pretty much my limit. I think we're fine here. Oh yeah, we're definitely fine. Beautiful, let's go. Let's freaking go. So yeah, my roommate brings it up, and they're like, don't worry, we're going to clean everything. We just haven't had the time. We're understaffed. We're under whatever. And I'm kind of getting sick of this, actually. I'm kind of getting sick of the whole, oh, we're understaffed, so there's going to be blood in your fridge. Like, guys, okay, look, I get that. But clean the apartment. We got to move it in like 2 days at this point, and it's not clean still. So the next day, I go to the apartment and I'm like, okay, hey, can I look at the apartment? They're like, okay, if you want to. We haven't cleaned it yet. And I'm like, we move in 2 days. All right, you guys got to clean this thing. I go in there, I look for it. Sure enough, blood in the fridge and bugs everywhere. And so I go down and I'm like, hey, the apartment looks great, maybe great's a stretch, but I mean, it looks fine, but there's blood in our fridge and there's bugs in our freezer. And the lady's like, you won't even know those were there, which honestly didn't make me feel better. It made me think like, well, what else are you guys gonna make me not know was there? I mean, if there was blood in the fridge and cockroaches in the freezer, I feel like I would want to know that. But apparently, they have like the Breaking Bad cleaning service that is just gonna make everything disappear. So, you know what? Everything else about the apartment looks nice. It's a top floor. It has a balcony. I like balconies, dude. I really do like balconies. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm thinking I can let blood go to the side as long as they clean the place and I can't tell there was a blood in the fridge and bugs in the freezer. I'm honestly willing to let it slide at this point. And they assure me that I will not know there was ever bugs in the freezer and all that stuff, which again, didn't really make me feel better, but whatever. I'm willing to let it slide. So the move-in day comes, and I get a phone call, and I miss the phone call, so I just have a voicemail. And I look at the voicemail transcript, and it's like, hey, this is the apartment place. We got a problem. You might not be able to move in today. And I'm like, okay, well, I have a moving truck set up already. Like, this is not going to work. You guys are definitely going to need to fix this, but I missed them. And so I go to call them back. But as you guys might have remembered, they don't pick up the freaking phone. So they call me, they tell me, yo, there's a problem with your apartment. You might not be able to move in. Just give us a call back when you can. So I give them a call back literally a minute later, and all of a sudden they're just ghosting me. And I was none too pleased about that, but I didn't really have a choice. And so I'm kind of freaking out, like, dude, what is the problem they're talking about? Because I feel like they could have told me on the voicemail, like, what the problem was, but they literally just said, we have a problem. You might not be able to move in, which is very indescript. And my mom cooked like a nice breakfast for us to celebrate us moving out. And I'm just sitting on the porch like, am I going to be able to even move out today? Like, what's going on here? Anyway, it's been like 40 minutes by now, but they've not called me back. And I'm just like, you know what? I already know the strat here. I'm just going to drive over there. And so I get in my car, bracing for like a 30-minute drive. And then once I get in my car, they finally call me back. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Thank God. We might actually be able to figure out what this problem is. I really need to take down this Archer Tower. And to do that, I need to take down this Archer. And then we can take down the Archer Tower here. And then move the cannon cards further forward. Take him out like that. Beautiful. That's in range? Okay, watch this trick. It's called the we put our cannon carts in range of a roaster trick. There we go. Okay, everything's okay. And I get the call from them and I'm like, yo, what's up? And they're like, okay, so it seems like there might be a bug problem in the apartment. And I'm like, well, no shit. We told you that yesterday. You said it was fine. You said there would be no problem. You said we wouldn't even know there was a problem. So what's happening now? And they're like, yeah, well, you can't move in today. And I'm thinking, okay, that's not going to work. I already have the truck. I already have everything. I'm going to move in here today. And yeah, so at that point, I'm like, all right, well, look, this is not ideal, but maybe I can use this to my advantage. Maybe I can be like, yo, can you guys maybe give me like money to do this or something? Like, I don't know. This is my first time in this situation, so I didn't really know what to do. My mom is there like, ask him for a 3-bedroom for free. And I'm like, okay, I don't know how much that's going to work. Bing. Okay, so the corner building here is just the hero altar. So that means technically it is possible, but we need to A, not find a single bomb, and B, take down the gold storage, which we are going to do. So, wait. It's not done yet. It's not done yet. Now, battlecopter ability, pause cannon cart so we don't find a trap. And not even close. Not even close. Not even close. And then this stage 2 is free. So this is great. This is very great. And like the second I start being like, well, we already bought a mover. So the lady's just like, I'm going to be honest with you. We're not going to give you anything. So I'm thinking, all right, great. I guess that's out of the picture. And she's like, if you want, you can still move in today. You just, you're going to have to deal with the bugs. And I'm like, that's not happening. That's not the option here. And so we kind of go back and forth about like what we can do. The lady's like, I can give you a garage. And I'm like, a garage is not going to cut it in this situation. I need to live somewhere, not a freaking garage. And so she's like, all right, I'll see what we can do. And at this point, we've been talking to like the actual manager of the place, like the actual owner of the apartments, rather than just like the desk girl. So I get a call back from the desk girl and she's like, I have a solution. And I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm all ears for it. And she tells me that apparently this morning, a apartment had just become available because a lady decided she didn't want to move in there because she didn't like the layout of it. She said it's completely bug free, which I thought, that should probably be a prerequisite. I don't think that should be like a big brag, like, this one does not have a bug infestation. I mean, we're pretty top notch. But she's like, it's completely bug free. And I'm like, yeah, I would hope so. And it's nice, it's open. Do you want that? And I'm like, you know what? Let's go take a look at it. So I drive, I go, me and my roommate, we open the door, we look through it, and it's actually pretty nice. Like, it's actually really nice. Like, compared to the other one, there's no blood in the fridge. That's a W. I love when there's no blood in the fridge. I mean, we liked everything else about the apartment. We weren't a big fan of the whole bug infestation thing. That was kind of our big turnoff, but everything else about the apartment, we were actually a pretty big fan of. It has a pool. The pool looks really nice. It has a basketball court, although I later learned the basketball court is closed. So not gonna lie, that was kind of a selling point for me, so that kind of sucked to figure out that that was closed, but everything else about the apartment is actually pretty nice. And so we're touring this new apartment thing that just became available that has no bugs. Apparently that's, again, a pretty big selling point. I thought that was just what you look for in an apartment, but whatever. And we decided that even after all the craziness, we're just gonna full send it. And so we full sent it. And so I've spent the last 2 days moving into an apartment, which is actually, believe it or not, a massive pain in the ass. I haven't moved to an apartment in a while, so I kind of forgot. And also I had a lot less stuff when I moved to an apartment last time. So I was not necessarily prepared for just how much of a pain it is to move to an apartment. But boy, is it really a pain, like a massive pain. We had to move like everything in there. I have a bunch of Legos, so all those had to like go get moved, and guess what broke? The Legos, obviously. I mean, I don't know what I thought was gonna happen. A bunch of Legos versus a moving truck. What's gonna win? But yeah, I've spent the last few days just moving in. I spent a lot of money to do this. I had to get groceries, I had to get all this stuff. I'm kind of broke. And that sucked. So I got my Supercell code payment though. My Supercell code payment was a lot more than usual. And I don't know if I got lucky or what. It was 3 times more than usual. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is because I guess people don't really like to tell people their finances or whatever. So I don't know. I feel like I always hear adults being very like hush hush about how much money they make. So I'm going to do that too because I'm an adult now. I have an apartment, no big deal. But it was a lot more than usual. And that actually is going to be very monumental for me to have that extra money here because I had to get my cat moved in. I had to buy her litter. I had to buy her food. I had to do all this stuff. And having that extra money is actually insanely useful to me. So for everyone who's used my creator code, you are actually helping me so much here because I realistically can't afford a lot of this stuff here. I mean, moving is very expensive. So today it just made me very thankful for all the people I have who use my code, but also it made me realize I should probably be trying to take YouTube a little more seriously, which is something I say roughly once every 3 months is how I need to take it more seriously, and then I don't. So let me just do that again. It's been roughly 3 months since I last said it, so I'm going to say it again. I'm going to try and take it more seriously, but I'm also going to try and start a channel membership because that seems like just printable money. All right, that's a little sarcastic, but I'm going to try and upload like daily on the channel membership for those people who choose to buy it. And I don't know, you can just like tell me what you want to see and be like, yo, let's see some more of this content. And I'll be like, all right, cool. You know, you give me like how much ever money I make it. I don't know how much I'm going to make it. I feel like I don't want to make it expensive, but also I don't want to make it cheap because it's really just to help support me. It's not like I'm doing it just to get money. I actually kind of need to be supported from this. So I don't know how much I'm going to make it. So if you guys want to comment how much you would make it, feel free, and what content you'll want to see, feel free. But just know that's where I've been for a little bit, is there's a lot of craziness I've had to do in managing getting a new apartment and stuff, but it's all okay now. This will be my last video I record at my old house, and then I'm going to be stealing my cat and bringing her in a car for 30 minutes, so I'm kind of scared for how that's going to go. But hey, we're number 3 in the United States, and in the world we're probably pretty low. Yeah, we're number 39 in the world. I'll take a screenshot of that to clickbait with, but hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think about the channel membership and what you want to see, and I'll see you later. Bye.